Good evening and welcome to your favorite disco show on WBLS, Disco Confessions. We have a very special guest today, and we have the story of a pioneer, man who fought for the music against all odds, who gave it all, who made you dance. Hello, Mr. John Morales. What a pleasure to have you here tonight.
Pleasure's mine, John.
So, where to start with a thrilling life and career like yours?
Yeah, maybe around the late 70s or so.
Formula for success in the music business begins with talent, but talent alone is not enough to make beautiful music beautiful. Now, there are two New Yorkers who do that job by putting the finishing touches on the songs that we hear on radio and TV. Judith Womack reports.
I'll bet you didn't know that I could play the drums. Tell you the truth, I can. It's a drum machine.
They're not rock stars, but they are star makers or mix masters. Sergio Munzibai and John Morales use the latest in computer technology to make record industry artists sound good.
After an artist and a producer have recorded the song and it's put on a reel of tape, all the instruments are recorded separately, not necessarily done at separate times.
Now, are you saying to me that the singers can't sing and actually you're making them sound good?
No, I think I'd get shot as soon as I walked out the building.
The best way to describe John Morales is legendary.
He's one of the pioneers of the remixing game. I mean, a lot of what we all do today is due to people like John Morales.
He was very important for the disco movement, you know what I mean? Like I said, he mixed a big body of work.
He's, he's an important part of the scene.
He's the first one to really make, disco grooves go further and further and further. Like, he arranged it so it's really something for a DJ to play.
John Morales is one of the most iconic engineers, producers, remixers of the disco and dance music genre.
He's done records that you could only imagine. It's a catalog of music that's just unparalleled.
those are the templates. Those are like the records that, you know, a lot of people like myself learn from to figure out what we're doing. You know, he's an icon, really. He really is a legendary person.
The man behind the scenes who mixed a lot of records for people and made them sound great.
He started off like as engineering, but he took engineering to the next level. So he made engineers producers. So you just couldn't hire him just to put a record together. He had a lot more going on.
Well, I think besides being a good remixer, he's also an excellent engineer. So his sound is really top. He has a very good ear for the sound of these records. So, you know, they sound up to date.
Without him, there would be no club versions of records. It would just be album versions, and the way he remixed and reproduced records to extend the beginnings and the middles. In the end, it told a complete story for the dance floor.
And even today, what he's doing with these records, you're able to understand how he's taken things from one place of where it was and just bringing it to a whole new level.
Yo.
Hola.
Hola. I was just I'm working on the dub for our track.
Oh, dope, man. The original mix sounds really, really awesome. It's like sickening.
Yeah, I think we have a good combination between your guys' mix and mine. We got something good. I did contact one of the other guys, but I didn't hear back from him yet about doing some other mixes. So, but I took it to Danny. I took it to Danny 718 last night, and he played it there, and it sounded really, really good. So, the only thing I did today was I kind of not brightened, but I kind of gave the kick and the bass a little bit more points, so it kind of cut through a little bit, so it wasn't so tubby.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah.
So, but I think I have now figured out how to get my kick drum to be like thunderous like yours.
I've been trying to get my kick drum to sound like yours since forever, so I don't know what you're talking about.
No, you know what? I figured if I think it's too loud, then it's okay. You know, it's like I have to mix it to where I think is right, and when I think is right, I need to make it louder.
Oh, okay.
I think the important thing was, which we already achieved, was to make sure that they didn't sound alike, which was the one thing I was worried about. So, but with all my percussions and the keyboard...
Yours is down to what, 120?
120.
Something?
Yeah.
Yeah, so if yours is at 120, mine's 122.
Right.
I think the differences are sort of spell out themselves. But, you know, like I said, your versions, man, the soul dudes are going to really like yours. Hopefully, you know, mine's not too soulful for the house dudes to like. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. But I think it's going to be a really good project. And, you know, the girl Tasha LaRae just really did a good job.
Yeah, you know what? For a minute, some parts, she sounds just like Tina.
Excellent.
Yeah, she sounds real good, especially through the verses and stuff. Cool. All right, my brother. Listen, man, I love you, man. Be blessed. And speak to you soon, man.
All right, thanks a lot.
All right, tell Tommy I said yo.
I most certainly will.
Okay. All right, take care, my brother.
Peace.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Cool. My mother and my parents were hard workers. They did factory work. My mother worked in an office in New York. Sometimes they had 2 jobs to provide for me and my sister. Went to Catholic school, both in preschool and intermediate school and even in high school. So they worked very hard to educate me and my sister and to try to create a better life for us. You know, they sacrificed a lot. You know, my parents weren't the type that went to the movies or went out to restaurants. We didn't go on a lot of vacations. Basically, they saved money and they raised they raised their family. I used to walk from the school, which was 150 in Melrose. I used to go down to 3rd Avenue, where the L used to run. And I used to walk from 151st to 156th Street, where there was stores and stuff, and you always be looking at, I guess I was around 10 or 11, and that's where I discovered Stan's Record Shop. So I would just go in there every day, and I would look at the records, and sometimes they had the little record players in the front, and I would listen. And I don't know how long after I started doing that, the owner, Stanley, came up to me and asked me if I wanted to work. Now, mind you, you know, I'm 10, 11 years old. I'm not exactly sure how old I was back then. And I looked at him and he said, I just need somebody to sit here and just make sure nobody steals, because after school, everybody used to go into the record shop, which I discovered. So I used to sit in the corner, and I guess people knew that I was sitting there making sure nobody stole, and at the end of the week, they'd give me 1045s. You know, that's the other thing that really opened up my brain or my mind to different types of music, because every Tuesday was record day, and they used to bring the new music in the store, and I used to listen to all kind of things, whether it was pop or soul or country, or if I liked the record, I put it to the side. I really think that period in my life is what really gave me an idea that I wanted to do something with music, because I was always drawn to it. You know, when you get to the corner of Melrose and you look and there you see the projects right there, it was like deja vu. You know, it just took me back, because right on the corner, there was a grocery store that we call a bodega. And I remember vividly looking there, seeing my father hanging out on the corner, playing dominoes with all his friends. And I would stop there after school, and then I would just walk right through the projects. Nothing's changed. The whole interior, you go in, you know, there was a little parking area, and then there's the basketball courts and the handball courts, which are right in the center of the projects. I spent a lot of time in this park playing basketball and handball. It's so surreal to come back into the neighborhood and just see everything still the way it used to be. Kind of brings me back to my youth. Future NBA star right there. Hey! Most of the people that lived in here were Hispanic and Black. This was more of a low-income community. In the summertime, the park was full of people playing music. This is real interesting. I haven't been here in over 50 years. I really believe that growing up in the Bronx really gave me a profound influence that still today stays with me, because, you know, as a good friend of mine, DJ Spence, said to me the other day, he said, boy, you love your percussions. So, you know, and that was from my heritage, from hanging out at the park and seeing all the congueros and people playing bongos and just timbales. You know, the park and the project was a very vibrant place of music in the summertime. I mean, the place was just jam-packed and things were going on. This is where I grew up, 304 East 156th Street in the Bronx. Got a lot of memories about this place. This is pretty much where it all started. You know, this is where I started my love for music, with a little AM radio. You know, I used to sit in my room with a little headphone and listen to the radio there. So this is where it all, right here, 304 East 156th Street in the Boogie Down.
Boogie Down, Bronx. Hey.
I lived here before they built the Jacksons. Yeah, I lived here till I was about 15 years old in that apartment, and that was my bedroom. All right, take care, my man.
We weren't looking at it like, we want to become stars or we want to become big. No, we just wanted to do great work, and we loved music, and we wanted to do the best that we possibly could to share our gift with everybody, and hopefully they would accept it, and they did. He used to have long hair, no more. He used to be real skinny, but he's now, he's a man. He's a big, full man, and he looks great.
One of the defining points in just in my life in general, was the first time that I was asked to mix a record. I remember that night clearly, as like 40 years ago as it was. I walked into the studio and Patrick Adams and Greg Carmichael were there, and in the studio was Jocelyn Brown.
John Morales. The first time I met him, he didn't walk in the studio. He was already in the studio. I walked in the studio, and we were doing Caught Up in a One-Night Love Affair.
I think for both of us, it was a very important part in our career. It was the first song that Jocelyn sang as a lead singer, and for me, it was actually the first record that I was given credit for doing.
That song was the beginning of me stepping out into the public, and John was instrumental with that. The song came on the radio and we didn't know anything about it, and all of a sudden, the guy who produced it with us, Greg Carmichael, slipped it on WBLS, which is a major station in New York.
One of the places that I played that had a lot of fame was Studio 54. And I played at Studio 54 by virtue of going there with Jocelyn Brown.
That was a very serious mark for me because I'd met Grace Jones there and a few other people, and it was a big spot for me and John. That was our first debut, between there and the garage.
So I DJ'd there that night, and she came and she sang. But for me, I've always been an underground, small venue type of DJ, Pippins, Bentleys, that type of 1018, the Limelight, and those type of clubs.
Then we were freer because we were looking for a release, and the release was in the music. But in hidden places like the garage and different places, different places that held dancing all night long, and DJs coming in to do that work.
For me, Jocelyn was somebody that when she opens her mouth, the hairs on your hands and you get goosebumps. For me, that's a special talent, and for me, she'll always be one of the best.
Hey.
What's up, bro? It's never easy finding parking around here, man. Good.
Yeah, you got the lot on Horatio.
Oh, I found a parking, so.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah, I bought you some gifts, actually. I figured you doing this. I know I sent you the files, but I figured I would bring you the
album.
The albums and stuff, so, and plus I bought something for you to sign for me.
Okay.
The CD and the two double vinyls.
Oh, nice. Beautiful, beautiful.
I had Kenny sign this for me a couple years ago, so I figured I might as well get you.
If there's room there, right? No.
Yeah, no, but then...
Cool. That's cool. I got it right there.
Yeah, you got a corner there, and then you can over here,
of
so...
course.
It's my little...
Yeah, this is great, man.
Plus, I got some new goodies for you.
Oh, man, just what I need. Perfect for tomorrow, too. We're doing this unreleased night. We only do it once a year, and everything I play is unreleased, though, for 6 hours.
Well, here you go, unreleased.
Unreleased, there you go. For tomorrow night.
I mean, your uncle, Hector,
Yep.
you know, I remember seeing him at the, where was it? Was it on Jerome Avenue? Was it Casablanca? There was a club that they were playing at, and I remember seeing him there and some altercation that happened at the bar, and I saw him crack some guy in the head with a glass. I never forget that story.
Wow.
At the bar, because
Yeah, they used to get into fights, yeah. That's
Yeah.
true. Him and Willie, man, they were street. You know, they were like 17 and 19 when they first started. You
Yeah,
know,
well, see, in that area in the 70s, that's when salsa music was very strong in New York.
Yeah, huge.
You know, all the clubs, the Pocambo, the Cheetah, and the Bronx, there was a lot of places, you know, Charanga 76. I mean, I was into all that Latin stuff.
Yeah.
See, for me, growing up in salsa music, I was always into percussions. And it's funny because I gave it to me and Spen did a new track, and he called me the other day. He said, dude, he said, do you do anything that you don't put percussions on and like 18 hi-hats and stuff? I said, I don't think so. It's just naturally what we always did. And when I started working with Sergio in the middle 80s, and he was Cuban, you know, from New Jersey. So, you know, one of our big percussion, like Bashiri Johnson must have played on 300 of our records, him and Jimmy Malin. You know, we used to bring them in every day. Congas, cowbells, shakers, cabazas, you know, so everything had like all these layers of rhythm. So I don't know if you got influenced by any of that and incorporated in some of your early productions.
I mean, you know, we grew up with the same thing, you know, percussion in the neighborhoods, Orchard Beach. You go to the beach up in the Bronx and, you know, you had all the, there was an area where the percussionist played, and we always loved that because, you know, when you hear the percussionist jamming alone, it sounded really amazing. It was just that feeling of the drums. There was nothing like it, you know. But yeah, of course, it's part of our heritage. You know, it's gonna come out in what we do. You know, we were brought up in melting pot society. You know, African Americans and Latinos, you know, together. Well, you know, I think that. I mean, you're a pioneer for all of us, you know what I mean? Because what Joey Negro does, what I do, what, you know, Kenny does, what a lot of us do, you know, you opened up that door. So, you know, I want to say thank you for that because it allowed us to explore how these records were made. And me as a producer, you know, I love seeing how these records were made, and I love stripping them down and, you know, seeing how that bass really sounded, you know, and, you know, how these records really sounded before they were finished, and, you know, how they were put together, how the arrangements were. So you know, thanks to you on a lot of that.
The disco songs of that era of the 70s and stuff, the Donna Summers and the South Soul Orchestras and the MFSBs and the Teddy Pendergrasses of the world, what made those artists so great was not only them as an artist, but the songs and the musicians that played on them. And for me, I think that was always the magic of the stuff from that period, is that the music from that time was made by real musicians that poured their hearts and soul into the music and were always striving to get the best out of every song.
About 4 years ago, John and Sergio, while working at WBLS Radio, came up with the idea to start their own business.
I met Sergio at WBLS. I think back in 1980, 81, when the whole dance thing started becoming popular on the radio. And at the time, he knew me because I had already done Caught Up in a One-Night Love Affair, and he showed some interest in the whole mixing process. Then what happened is Sergio called me one day. He says, listen, he says, Salso wants me to mix this record. He says, but I don't know what to do. So I said, don't worry about it. I says, just, Salso works at Blank Tapes a lot, so just have them book you a session at Blank Tapes. I'll come down with you, and I'll help you. You just ask for Bob Blank to be the engineer, and we'll do it together. I'll help you out.
What we do is we put them all together the same way you would make a bowl of soup, you know, a little bit of salt and pepper, and, you know, people would call treble and bass. We add the proper amount of treble and bass and echo and things, and just sort of put everything in perspective against each other.
So Sergio came down, and we started to mix the record together, and by the end of the session, you know, we became friends and realized that, you know, we had a lot of similarities and things that we liked together, And I don't know how it came about, and we said, hey, let's just call it an M&M mix, Morales and Munzibai. And he said, oh, sounds like a great idea. And, from there, we just, when I got a mix, I invited him because I was still doing a lot of work, with the Aleems, and I was starting to get work from other labels. So I included him, and he included me in stuff that he was asked. And that's how M&M started.
To be a remixer or producer, basically, the first thing you need is the talent, some education in music, to be aware of music itself, to maybe be able to read and write it. It's very helpful, or play an instrument. You have to have an ear for it. You don't really need money to get started that way, because the studios are rented. The record company that hires you pays for that rental time. What you really bring into it is your hands, your talent, and the ideas you have, your creativity. So equipment-wise, you don't need that much equipment or money for that. You just need to, first shot you get to do a good job, you have to bring it home, make it a hit, because you're as good as your last one, and then you can keep going.
Sergio was a very, he was full of life, very open person. Everybody loved Sergio. For some reason, I was always kind of like the serious guy. I would get in the studio and I'd be while everybody was laughing, I'd be doing. And Sergio had a way of just lifting up the atmosphere in the room, kind of livening things up just by some of the jokes he said and some of the things that he did. He just had a lot of energy and a good soul.
John and Sergio were making amazing remixes that we all would just go to the store and not even hear it. You saw their names, you bought it. And that's what we did. When you saw an M&M Production, you just bought it. Because it was going to be great quality, it was going to be a great mix, and it was going to be dance floor friendly.
It was a lot of fun. I mean, we had some hard times, like any partnerships have, but we stayed strong until like the late 80s, and then things started to become a little more difficult. During the bad times, music's gotten me out of things. I've been in some dark places during my life, and the music helped drag me out because it made me realize how important it was, and that if I kept down some of these roads I was going, that I would lose it. I mean, I gotta say, there's a story. I was mixing Aretha Franklin in a studio in Blank Tapes. I think it was in the mid-'80s when drugs were really prevalent. A lot of things were going on, and I was having an issue. And I remember myself standing in the bathroom wanting to get high because I didn't want to share the drugs with other people. And I realized, and I just stood there for a second, and I said, what the fuck is going on? I said, I'm mixing an Aretha Franklin record, and I'm more worried about being in the bathroom doing drugs than working on this record. See, moments like that, the one thing that I've always been good at is I've been able to recognize when I was about to step off the cliff and save myself. That moment made me realize that if I stayed in that bathroom, I could lose the music. So I just stopped. During the era of hip hop and rap and stuff, where dance music started becoming less and less relevant, we weren't getting that much work. We were struggling to try to figure out what to do. One day we had a management company at the time, and he called us up to the office, and they weren't going to renew our agreement because he said we just weren't relevant anymore. So, that was a real big moment, for us, because we left there, and there was a restaurant on 57th Street, never forget it, called Chock Full of Nuts. And we went in there, and we sat down, and we kind of decided that maybe it was time for us to just go our own way. Unfortunately, during the time that we were apart, Sergio got ill, And I think around 90, 91, I'm not exactly sure when he passed away, but he passed away. I kept working. A couple years later, I got sick, and I just decided at that time that, you know, my health was a little bit more important, and I have given like 20 years of my life to music already, and it was time to take a little bit of a break.
You can never expect what life can bring you. There are changes in every corner. There are decisions to take at every step. And the ones you do and take will create the journey of your life.
The thing about that period was that the problem was that I entered the business, and I think the problem was that I loved the music more than I loved money at the time. So I didn't work for money. I worked for the music. And I'm not saying that people took advantage, but I didn't make a lot of money. So when I decided to step away, I didn't have anything to fall back on. So I needed to find other things to do. And I got into sports memorabilia, getting autographs, many helmets, people like Peyton Manning, Hall of Famer, Kobe Bryant, limited basketball number to 100. Then we have Joe Montana, autograph football. So I got really into sports memorabilia. I had these all hung up and put in my den, but I took them all down. And then I got into sports jerseys. One of my favorite running backs was Barry Sanders, and this was one of his jerseys that I mounted. Patrick Ewing, another of my favorite New York Knicks. It's one of my favorite jerseys. Randy Moss, Peyton Manning, Vince Carter, who I used to love, Alex Rodriguez. I also got into boxing. A friend of mine is a referee, big-time referee, and he used to come, and I used to go to the Boxing Hall of Fame. So I got a Mike Tyson, Valley Holyfield, and Chicago Bulls. 2 Chicago Bulls championship balls signed by the whole team, including Michael Jordan. And I remember one time I was at a show. There were shows where people would set up tables and they would sell their pictures and all this stuff. And I remember being at a show once, I'll never forget this, in Long Island, and 2 guys that I knew really well from the music business walked in. And to be honest, I felt really embarrassed that here I am, somebody, quote unquote, John Morales, that did all these records, is now selling memorabilia and doing all these things after this career that I had. I mean, in retrospect, I'm not embarrassed anymore because I realized that was just part of my journey. You figure this was about 15 years after I had already started, and I had, from what I had thought at the time, built a certain name. And sometimes I felt like I did all this for nothing. You know, here I was, I spent 15 years in the music business, I made all these hits for all these other people, and like I had little to show for it, and here I was going to stores, meeting managers, trying to sell software, working on a commission. So, I mean, there were a lot of hard times, there was a lot of soul searching. To be honest, you know, I remember times where I couldn't afford to pay the gas or the electric, and the lights would get turned off, and I had no water, you know. But meanwhile, I would sit in my living room and I would see these gold records on the wall, you know. So, you know, maybe if I was a better business person or I did things differently, it wouldn't happen, but I figured everything happened for a reason. So my life has just been an endless journey of different events and different people who have crossed my path that either have pushed me or directed me into different directions. But for some reason, it always went back to the music. It's funny to find this record. This is my first mix. You remember this?
Yeah. Actually, I played that Sunday, but before you got there.
Oh, okay. Well, I wasn't. It took me a while to get there. It's funny. I keep telling people the story. I says, you know, one of the things that kind of made me come back, because, you know, Dimitri, when he did the night dubbing,
yeah,
you know, kept calling me. He says, oh, you need to come and play at the opening or something. You need to come. And I was like, he says, I haven't played in like 25 years. You know, he said, no, it'll be fine. So I kind of. Hector Romero at the time was selling his old CDJ 1000s.
Okay.
And I drove out to his house in Long Island to buy them so that I could practice a little bit, because I'd never used them. You know, so I finally got the courage to tell Dimitri that I would go and play at the party, and then we were doing it. And
that was the night I came to see you?
Yeah, and I kind of remember you came in and said hi, you know, and it's like, you said, oh, and I haven't played a record in 20 years, not too bad, you know. So I remember going home thinking, I'm saying, well, you know, if Denny Cribbett said it wasn't too bad, then maybe it wasn't too bad. So it's kind
I think it was kinder than that.
No, but it's that's part of the reason that I kind of decided to come back.
You sounded good.
Because I wasn't that sure. I mean, even to the last minute when Dimitri was saying, "No, you got to do it," I'm like, I haven't done this. I said, "What is a CDJ?" You know? I remember sitting at home just thinking about it and saying, I haven't DJ'd in a while. I don't want to get embarrassed. You know, I'm just kind of getting back into the business, you know, trying to control it a little bit.
No, you sounded good that night. So I was thinking, yeah, you're going to be getting into this again.
Yeah, I guess I did. So it made me feel good. And then I went home that night thinking about it. I was saying, you know what? I think I want to get back into this and try. So I kept practicing at home.
Well, I used to always see you when I go to, what was it? What was the roller rink on 55th Street that Sergio used to play at?
Oh, God, I forgot the name of that.
Yeah, but I used to run into you there a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, you would always be like, you just did this mix, you just did this mix.
Yeah. Well, you know, the good thing was that back in the day, the good thing about it was that we could put a mix on a cassette or something. Sergio, we'd run it down to Larry and he'd play it, or give it to Jelly Bean or Mark Kamens, and and then we'd run back to blank tapes and tweak it a little bit. I was fortunate to be able to go and visit Larry at the Paradise Garage a couple of times. Every once in a while, me and Sergio would go over there when we were working on a mix, and we'd bring Larry a cassette or reel-to-reel and hope that he would play it so that we would get a reaction from the people that were there to see if we were on the right track with a certain mix or something. Larry was another person that was very passionate about the music, was very open. He was a person that was not scared to play anything. And here's another one. It was the only record that featured an M&M and a Larry Levan mix back to back.
Okay.
You know, our claim to fame was that we actually put an a cappella kind of dub on it.
Well, around that time, that got much use.
Yeah, I remember. I used to always tell people, I think me and kind of Sergio kind of pioneered the whole kind of dub, a cappella kind of mix, because I don't think a lot of the other guys were really doing all the extra mixes at that time. At least I don't remember too many.
Not so much a cappella stuff.
Yeah.
They were thinking companies weren't really looking to do that.
Yeah. Well, the good thing about this was Will's little sleeping bag, so I guess they just, you know, 3-minute a cappella, and it came into use. A lot of people have used it, so.
Cool.
Thank you for inspiring me to come back.
I mean, you were just saying how when you started that night there at Submerser, CDJs were new to you.
I'd never seen them before.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of transitioned through the whole thing when we first started Body and Soul. I remember every time I had to play a CD, I'd be like, Francois, could you mix that for me? Both me and Joe.
Right.
Like, I didn't know from CD, just.
Yeah, I just told somebody today, I said, when I used to gig in the Bronx, I used to have a shopping cart that would hold 3 crates of records in it, 3 of the long milk crates, you know? And I would use that to get on the bus to go do gigs. And I worked at one of the roller skate rinks in the Bronx, Bruckner Ball, where the DJ booth was about 50 feet high. And the only way to get up to it was like a little fire escape thing. So we used to have to tie the crate to your back to get the records up. And once you were up there, usually you would leave them because I was kind of a resident there. And I was already scared of heights.
Records kind of kept you in shape.
Well, yeah, they did if they carry around. When the internet really started to flourish, which is one of the things that really kept me still in tune with everybody. I'll never forget, I was living in Philadelphia, and one night I went on the computer and I typed in John Morales. And all of a sudden, I saw all this stuff come up about me. And for 1 second, I could sit back and I realized that what I did was relevant. You know, I did something that mattered back in the 70s. That was an important part of the dance culture and the evolution of music. And I started to feel better about myself.
John is a real grafter, he's a real hard worker. I see him, he's flying all over the place. You know, I look at his Facebook, he's in Bangkok airport, then I look at it the next day, he's in an airport on the other side of the world.
He's the reason why dance music was created, you know? He's a part of that generation. So he puts in what needs to be put in. The other ones can do what they want to do with it, but the truth of the matter, they need to go to John to get some education.
John is one of those guys that have the kind of the unsung heroes, the guy that's pushing the buttons, that cut the tape, that, you know, asked the guy to, can you just do that again? You just need it one more time. In the studio, it's, you know, very intense, and to get the best out of people is a real difficult skill, and, you know, John is one of those people.
John Morales has played a big part in the development of disco music from back in the 70s to current day, now 2017. He's still prominent, he's still out there, he's still doing his thing. You know, he's working hard in the studio for many, many years.
My life as a traveling DJ is one where many nights I work until 6 in the morning, and I have my suitcase in the booth, and I go from there to an airport to fly to the next place. You know, because our life is mostly a nightlife, it basically exists on the weekends, which are Friday and Saturday, and maybe some rare Sundays. The DJ life for me, right now being what's called an international DJ that travels a lot, for the most part, is a very lonely and isolated life. I leave the venues alone by myself, but I always take the night with me. That changed my whole life because now I had to deal with something serious. It's been real scary because I do love DJing. I love going out and playing for people and meeting people, and I'm pretty scared that this may curtail that. I'm hoping that I can get back to normal as soon as possible, but I need to be realistic and think that maybe some of these things will take a little bit of time. So maybe it'll take a couple months, maybe it'll take a year, I don't know. But at the end of the day, the most important part is dealing with the cancer and getting rid of it, you know, rather than going playing some club and making a few people happy and then have them read about me in the paper. You know, I always grew up as a Catholic, and I'm not gonna lie and say that I haven't said a couple prayers, you know, for God to help me, you know, but I don't have any more faith today because I got sick than I had yesterday. So I don't believe that because all of a sudden I got cancer that I need to go to church every day. You know, I need to find some spiritualism within myself. You know, find my own God, you know, and say my prayers to myself and just, you know, ask the Lord, you know, to help guide me through whatever he has in store for me. You know, because most people that are religious, you know, they say God's got a plan. So hopefully his plan for me is for me to deal through this and become a better person on the other side. You know, it's made me look at things differently because back in '93, I had a very serious heart arrhythmia. That was the reason why I stopped back then. And I went through a lot of years of just treatments and different things, and I missed the music, but there was nothing I could do at the time, you know, and slowly things happened and I came back into it. And it's almost like I'm coming full circle again. And I need to realize that I don't want to have to stop. I think I'm gonna take me some records. Where's the M&M section?
Wow.
I figured you didn't come to me, I might as well come to you, so.
Hey, man, when I lived down the block, this is the easiest way to do it. I used to live upstairs.
Oh, okay.
But, you know, like, I got the water crib and couldn't move all this shit. So I kept this as a rental. Come here every once in a while, not as often as I'd like to.
Oh.
I do most of my work at home.
Yeah, well, see, when I moved, I had prerequisite. I had to have a space for my stuff.
I dream of the day when I can be united.
So, well, see, the big thing, I got rid of my records long ago, so I didn't have to carry those. The first time I moved from the Bronx, I called John at 21st Century. I said, bring a truck.
Wow. I probably got some of your records in my collection.
I want to play a new track I did with Spencer Morales. It's a cover of Tina Marie's I Need Your Lovin'.
Oh, cool.
Everything's been replayed, so even though the bass sounds the same, it's the guy that's playing it.
Did a good job.
Come on, baby. Bring me that sugar.
Good. So what you do with the L-O-V-I-N? My baby loves me and I know.
We didn't do that. We didn't do it.
Breaks up the whole record.
Yeah, I mean, we got the sax solo in it also, which you'll hear. It's the same, but it's different. It's because the guy kind of copped the riff,
right.
But the sax is double the time, so.
So there's a festival that you're involved with in Spain that I'm.
Oh yeah,
supposed to be
yeah,
doing,
the
right?
Hamels Festival, man. I wanted to mention to you that, dude. This is I'm like the godfather now because I've done it like 4 years in a row. I always do the closing party, but I mean the whole island. When you get there, it's just magical.
Where is this?
It's in Lanzarote. It's in an island in the Canary Islands.
Okay.
And the place that you're gonna play at is called Los Hamels de Agua. It's in a volcano.
Inside a volcano.
Inside a volcano. You go, now I'll show you some pictures later, but you go into this place and inside of it, there's the cave, there's a big opening where the volcano lava kind of came through and carved
Right.
like underground for like 7 kilometers through the ground. It's crazy. 4 o'clock, we all got to leave because the water rises up out of the pond and it covers the whole bottom of the floor.
At 4.
At 4. So well, it starts at 4, but like by 4:30, 5 o'clock, it's like 5 feet of water. So the crew's got to come in, they got to break down all the equipment, and everybody's got to just bust out.
And it's like...
That's it. They play your last tune, and it's, I mean, the thing is that they only hold 450 people.
Right.
But it's like people are just passionate about music and stuff there because they don't have a lot that's going on.
Right.
So the festival is like a big thing there.
Right.
So they only do 4 parties.
Ain't that something, though, that we have to go all the way across the pond to play for people, you know, far away from our home that really appreciate music? Like, it's such a disconnect here. Like, it's crazy.
After so many years of traveling, it's almost like waking up and going to sleep. You just get up and do it. You get tired, but you accept it as part of what you do. I think the toughest part of being a DJ is when you're traveling is trying to get decent sleep, because even if you're sleeping on a plane, if you're doing long haul, it's not really a good deep sleep. I think Lanzarote is so magical because they've tried to keep a sensibility about the island. I think that all the creations of Cesar Manriquez really gives it an individual thing. Every place is situated in a good place of the island. For me, I think it's very spiritual. It has a certain tranquility. When you come here, it's a place where you can relax. You can open up your mind. It's just a wonderful place to be. Some of my favorite places to travel around the world. I spend a lot of time in London, and over the years I've had a lot of friends there, so I love it there. One of my other favorite places is Australia, the city of Melbourne. I've come to know a lot of people there, very friendly. The music scene is very strong, so I love going there. New Zealand, one of my other favorite places is a little island called Lanzarote in the Canaries, a very surreal, spiritual place. I love going there. I even like going there even when I'm not playing, just to chill out and spend a couple days relaxing, enjoying the culture, eating the food, and revisiting a lot of the sites that are there. DJing is something where you learn every day. You learn a new song, you learn a new technique, you learn a new way of doing something. You know, if you're not learning, you're not progressing. I always try to prepare that day for that night and try to pick music that I think is gonna work for that evening. Nowadays, I'm playing more what they call new disco, kind of crossover house. You know, not so much the old 70s disco stuff. So I'm trying to be a little bit more progressive, and because I want the young people to be able to appreciate the music that I listen to in a new format, you know, updated, you know, harder beats. The songs are still the great songs. You know, Shaka Khan and Teddy Pendergrass and people like that, they will forever be great artists. But I find now that in some clubs now, that the songs need to reach a certain standard to be able to compete with the new stuff. So what I try to do on my re-edits and my productions is to take the older songs to be able to play them along with the new stuff so that the transitions aren't that noticeable.
John, buenos días. Tercera vez ya, tercera incursión en Lanzarote. ¿Para cuándo el título de disco óptico?
Es un orgullo de venir aquí, más o menos ser el padrino ahora de la fiesta de los jameos, que vamos 3 años que estoy aquí. Ahora es como una segunda casa mía. Y mucha gente que me conoce a mí saben que ahora tengo un amor con la isla y muchas veces vengo aquí de vacación para una tranquilidad que la isla tiene que yo en realidad no he encontrado en otro lugar.
John's a brother. We can talk about anything on a spiritual level, on a music level. He's a really genuine guy. He's just a rarity. There's nobody like this guy, I'm telling you. There's nobody on the planet.
DJ Eno is going to start 12 to 2.
Yep.
Then I'm going to set it up and leave it for you to take it home. So
looking forward to it. How am I supposed to come on behind you? I mean, you're going to be in your element. There's no way I'm supposed to come on behind you.
No, you'll be fine. You'll be fine. You'll be fine. I'm going to give it to you on a silver plate.
Fair enough. Looking forward.
When I was 17, my father, I wasn't doing good in school, so my father told me, he said, you have 1 or 2 options.
Okay.
You either get a job or you go into service.
Okay.
So I chose to go into the Air Force. And I was one of the last people that got accepted into the service at the age of 17.
Okay.
So then I did basic training, I went to Colorado, and I had a problem where I ended up hooking up with the base commander's daughter. So to get rid of me, he sent me off to Vietnam.
Oh.
I got over there, and the only good thing that happened was that I ended up being one of the armed forces radio DJs.
Okay.
So I was like the Robin Williams of Good Morning Vietnam.
Get out of here.
Yeah, it was in 1970.
That's classic.
70,
man.
71, and then I got hurt, fell off a airplane wing because I was standing where I shouldn't stand, and then I got sent back. So that's my brief story about Vietnam. I mean, there's other aspects to it, but that was pretty much it.
Man, now that's something to tell somebody.
Yeah, I don't talk about it too often, but it was a crazy period.
Cool your heart, to yourself be true.
The Jameos.
God.
Now when we're playing, we have to go down.
Right, down
into
into
the cave.
that.
Right.
Into a cave. So we're literally going to be cavemen.
We're gonna be cavemen.
Cavemen. Unga bunga, whoa, 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 whoa,
Like I
whoa,
said,
whoa.
this is one of the main sites on the island, the Jameos de Agua, which was created by Cesar Enriquez, who's one of the most famous architects.
Dude, he's an architect out of his mind to take
Yeah.
this stuff to where it is. This is stunning.
See, but again, because the rocks are so porous, stuff just starts growing out of them.
Yeah.
So this whole area will just get full of people. And
Okay.
many people will be here in the front.
So I don't have to be scared to walk on that.
Well, I think he just mopped it.
Yeah.
So, but for now.
Absolutely stunning.
And you can see back here, you know, and the further you go in and you look out, now you can see.
Yeah, the whole sort of. And nobody dances back here, I assume.
No.
But as my son says, this place is gonna be lit tonight.
It's gonna be lit tonight.
It's gonna be lit tonight.
Me, you, and DJ Eno are gonna give this place a new vibe. Yeah, I'm always excited to play here, and I'm glad and honored that you came and are gonna join us here and
oh man,
to celebrate this festival.
You don't understand. It's an honor for me to be here, to be with you, buddy.
So, this will be our home tonight.
All right, it's on, buddy.
Yeah.
It's on.
John Morales as a DJ will entertain you all night long.
Crazy. That's the logo. Just moving.
John rocks, man. He gets up there, he's maneuvering, he's never boring. He knows that you just can't let records play 8 minutes. You gotta mix it up.
John's a very capable DJ. You know, he knows records, he knows music, he knows how to put a set together, he looks at the crowd, he's versatile.
John is like a craftsman. He knows how to get in between the new and the old records and kind of make them sound seamlessly, like perfect. So he's a master at what he does.
He's got bad knees. You know, it's bad when a guy has bad knees and he's hitting his knees and all of these kind of things because the music is just moving him that way.
He knows what to play. He reads the crowd good. You know, he's been doing it from back in the day, and he's still doing it today, which is showing that the guy he knows his work.
I think the music inspires him, and through the inspiration that he gets from the music, he inspires the whole entire community, from dance floor to dance floor, from Ibiza to Croatia to Australia. Dude's a bad dude.
I've always done it for the love of the music. I've never done it for any other reason. I love the feeling of music. I love good songs. I love good lyrics. I love great beats. I just love the way it makes me feel. It's just, nothing else does it. So for me, DJing is a way of expressing my love for music by trying to share with the people that are coming to listen to me play some of the things that I love to hear. I love delivering the message. It's like a priest in church. Every Sunday he goes to church and he researches his sermon for the day of what he's gonna tell the people. And in a way, I think that the DJ is the priest of the club. He goes and he preaches with his music to the people there. And at the end of the night, just like in a church, the people get up, they say hello to the priest at the end, and they walk out. And hopefully they walk out smiling with a good feeling. For the rest of that night, whether it was a good night or a bad night, I'm reliving it. As I'm walking out of the venue, I'm thinking of what were the highlights? What song or what mix was it that kicked off the night? Where everybody was just, I'm alone walking, but I'm walking with everybody that was there that night. You know, reliving those few moments. Because when you go to the hotel and you lay down and you're thinking, I mean, for me, my head is still beating. I still have those songs going in my head. I have dedicated my whole life since I was a young kid to the pursuit of music, listening to music, playing music, DJ music, mixing music, producing music. Since the first time I had a little radio with a little AM phone in my room at night so that I wouldn't wake up my parents listening to radio in New York, I've always loved music. I just can't see the end without it. As far as I'm concerned, I could just keep doing it. As long as I love the music and I want to give it to people, I would be out there in a fucking cane, in a wheelchair, on a fucking respirator, just playing tunes for people. I don't know, I think that's, I would like to keep doing it. You know, hopefully my health could keep up, but as long as I can get there, I'll keep playing the tunes.
So this was the story of a fighter, a music lover, a real legend. Hope you enjoyed it as I did. Peace.
I'm proud of what I've done in music and have accomplished and not accomplished. But I'm proud of the fact that I've stayed true to what I do. You know, I'm not trying to be somebody else. I'm John Morales. I think what I get most about being John Morales is I get the satisfaction of knowing that what I'm doing is touching people. For me, through the history of everything that I've ever done, I always said that the most important record that I did was Inner Life Caught Up in a One-Night Love Affair with Jocelyn. Because that was the record that introduced me to the studio, and it gave me that love for doing this. I mean, I've done a lot of great records, but without that record, I might have not been on this path. I don't know where I'm gonna end up. I don't know what my legacy will be, if any, but I know that I've given everything I could to the music. That's kind of what I want people to know. You know, that I give my all. So, me and music and the dance floor.
Hello, John. I'm glad to see they're making a documentary about you, about time. I hope that you're going to do some nice scenes where you're in the bath at home and wandering around in your robe.
John, what's up, man? It's Kenny Dope, man. Love you, and we're going to catch up soon. Peace.
You have blessed the world with your countless remixes and production. I'm glad to be a part of this, man, and many more.
Hey, John, I just want to say thank you for all you've done for all of us. I mean, you know, you are one of our honorary and top members of the game, and, you know, you are a trailblazer for all of us.
You are the definition of endurance. It's great to see someone who, you know, has been in the game for so long, actually went away for a little bit and came back and said, you know what, I'm going to put my foot down and get my props. It's really about demanding and getting the respect that you deserve.
What's up, John? Thanks for all the disco mixes you've done for back in the day and all the stuff you're still giving us today. We love you. Keep it going.
Hey, John, thanks for all the years, all the good music, and look forward to seeing you always in the club, man. You always bring me up.
I want to let you know how much I love you. I'm trying not to cry, okay? How much I love you and I appreciate you. And if it wasn't for you, our debut in the music business would not have happened, and it did. You know, thank you so much for being there for me and for you letting me be there for you. I'm here always. You never have to worry about anything. I got your back, brother. Okay? Always. I love you.